All right, Dolphin fans, how are we doing? So, if you've been a Dolphin fan for more than 5 minutes, or if you've been a Dolphin fan for as long as someone like myself, which is going on 46, 47 years of being old enough to remember being disappointed by the Dolphins in December and January, you know that every year it's an annual tradition to go to Buffalo with playoff hopes and leave Buffalo with no playoff hopes or completely significantly dented playoff hopes. Now I'm going to lay out a scenario here that some of you probably call me crazy. I know Kyle calls me crazy. I say the Dolphins are going to win this game, and I'm going to tell you how. That way, if they don't do what I'm suggesting and they lose, not my problem, not my fault. So, I'm going to start with the defense. And now I've watched a lot of film, watched a lot of the breakdowns the last couple of games. And the first thing we got to talk about is the weather here, okay? The weather is going to impact both teams. Obviously, we're looking at 4 to 6 inches of snow, etc. The biggest thing we have to start to take into consideration with those circumstances is fumbles and players falling down. So you kind of want to do the best that you can to create the possibilities for your opponents to fumble, and also try to maybe take advantage of the possibility that your opponents will fall down. Now, you're going to do some of the same things, but you have to try to take advantage of the elements best you can. So defensively, last couple weeks especially, the damn near zero blitz, but then playing off zone coverage is getting us absolutely sliced and diced. It's getting us killed. Okay? We're sending 4 or 5 guys, maybe even 6, and then instead of playing press man, we're playing zone. And sometimes we're playing 10, 15, 20 yards off of the wide receiver. So we're basically giving them the 5-yard catch, 3-yard, 5-yard, and forcing our safeties and our corners to run up, make the play, make the tackle. Now that's a recipe for disaster in the snow, and if it's a slick field, because you're counting on that one guy to make the tackle. It ain't that difficult to slip. And now you've slipped, and instead of playing closer, tight man coverage where everybody's a little bit more compact, the rest of the team is who the hell knows where else on the field, and you've slipped, and now the ball carrier, the receiver, is off to the races, and you got to try to catch him up to him in the snow. What I would like to see, and the other part to that is with the blitzing and Allen, okay? We've already seen the Dolphins defense has a tremendous amount of problems with running quarterbacks. Look at what Fields did to us, okay? How many times, even though we beat the Bills last time, Allen has just ridiculous escapability. So what I say is stop forcing them to escape. Play as tight man coverage as you possibly can. Maybe disguise some things, all right? But stop with the blitzing and playing zone, because it is the easiest thing in the world to pick apart. The quarterback takes a snap, takes a step, throws it to a guy who's not covered but for 10 or 15 yards. Maybe we make the tackle, maybe we don't, but they're gouging us 5, 8, 10, 12 yards at a time, and they had no problem doing that. They're marching down the field. Sometimes they're getting field goals. Sometimes they're getting touchdowns. And defense, the points being scored against us isn't astronomical, but the damn time of possession is killing our offensive opportunities, number one, and wearing down the defense. Now, I don't suppose they're going to be worn down from heat exhaustion, okay, in this game. I don't think that's happening. But I would like to see less blitzing. Don't give Allen a reason to really need to escape. Give him his pocket. Give him time to sit back there, cover your men. All right? Instead of sending 6 guys, blanket them. All right? play some man, maybe a little bit of mix of a man in a zone where he can't really figure out who's being doubled or not. Okay, or if you're playing man and letting your safeties play zone just a little bit. If your corner falls down, safety's free to come up and try to make the tackle. You got to play it safe. There's no reason to force Allen to scramble, because on the subject of guys slipping and sliding and falling, if he slips and falls while he's scrambling, it's no big deal. It's they lose a couple of yards, but we're sending our blitzers and they think, oh, I got him, and then one of the blitzers falls down. Now Allen's got a free reign and he can just run wherever the hell he wants. And we're stuck in this zone coverage where guys aren't really paying attention as tight as they would with man coverage. Bad combination. Stop with the zero blitzing for the defense, okay? Maybe you're going to take a chance that you're going to get beat on a long play. I grasp that. But you got to play to the elements, all right? It is not going to be easy for either team to be connecting on long passes when it's snowing. It's not going to be overly windy, but it is supposed to be snowing pretty much the whole time. So now let's get to the real elephant in the room, right? Because the defense hasn't been bad. The defense has been bend, don't break, giving up some field goals, giving up touchdowns, but we didn't lose these last two games because we're getting killed specifically on defense. They're killing us time of possession because we can't get off the field. But that's a different story. What we're doing with those possessions is a different story. Offensively, now there's no doubt, absolutely no doubt that Tua's been off the last couple of weeks. Some of that's been Tua, some of that's been pressure, some of that's been by design of plays, and some of it has been Tua forcing the ball in, just forcing it in, okay? He is taking a couple steps back. He is not looking anywhere. He's got in his mind where the ball is going to need to be. He's throwing it, whether our wide receivers even know the ball is coming or not. Now, that's great when it works, but when it doesn't, it's a disaster. Now, offensive line has been okay? It's not been consistently horrible, but there have been bad plays at bad possible times, right? The most inopportune times. All of a sudden, we're allowing, Armstead did not look good last week. He's still clearly hurt, or at least, playing dinged up. But one thing I did notice in the film from both of the last two games is that overwhelmingly three-quarters of the time that we're watching film where Tua is forcing it to a guy that's, the one throw to Sherfield, there were four guys there, okay? So he's forcing it to Tyreek with 2-3 guys on him, forcing him to Waddle with 2-3 guys on him. The defenses are just completely giving us, most of the time, they're just completely giving us the dump off, the check down to the running back in the flat. They've got a linebacker on them 10, 12 yards away. Anytime Tua would want to just, instead of forcing it into triple coverage, anytime he wants to just take a look, boom, and dump it off to Mostert, he's got plenty of room to run, which brings me to the part where you want to play the elements, okay? If Buffalo gives us those checkdowns, number one, we got to take them. Number two, Myles frickin' Gaskin. I know he's not the best running back in the world, but between the last two seasons before this year, he's had 90 catches with 6 touchdowns, receiving touchdowns. And he's not dropping the ball. His targets to receptions is really, really good. I don't understand why he hasn't been made more part of the passing game. Wilson's hurt his hip. He's questionable. He didn't practice. Short week. It's going to be cold. I don't think you're going to see him. So Gaskins should be active. Now, last week watching the film, time after time after time, Tua is forcing it in, and Mostert is just standing there off to the side. There ain't nobody around him. They are just completely giving us that check down because they know Tua's not going to take it. We have to take those checkdowns this week if we want to win this game. With the elements the way that they are, those linebackers, if they're still continuing to play off of the running back in the flat, You get it out to Gaskins, get it out to Mostert. If the linebacker comes up and makes the tackle and it's only a 2 or 3 yard gain, so be it. We're not running the ball for much more than that anyway. But it only takes one slip, only takes one juke where in the snow that linebacker falls. And then look at the film. There ain't nobody but for 30, 40 yards on that side of the field. And Tua is just completely across the board ignoring it. And so teams are giving it to him. Now, you're only going to be able to take advantage of that for so long, right? If he starts checking down and dumping off, teams are going to adjust. But the last 2 games, they're completely giving him the check down. Buffalo's without Von Miller, all right? And they don't give a whole lot of, they don't give up a whole lot of yards running the ball. You're going to have to get creative here. I think if they're going to play their linebackers or safeties, even 8-10 yards off of the check down running back, he's got to make them respect that, okay? You have to do it. Now, why McDaniel is not doing that, I don't know. We don't know if he's not. We don't know if Tua's coming to the sideline and McDaniel saying, hey, man, running back's open, running back's open, running back's open. But he's open half of the time and Tua's just completely ignoring him. So those 2 things, I think, is a different way to look at things when you're playing the elements, okay? I think Gaskins got fresh legs. I know he had a banged up shoulder and everything like that. And if you don't want to put Gaskins, give it to Mostert. But the running backs are open, wide open in the flat, okay? And Ingold as well, okay? He is proven time and time again to be a reliable pass receiver. There's no reason why on a 2nd and 8, because we only gained 2 yards running the ball on first down, Tua does not have to throw into triple coverage to force it to Tyreek or Waddle. All right? The freaking running backs are wide open. So that's how we can win this game. Now, if you want a score prediction, I laid it out for Kyle. Now, when I give a score prediction, I give a prediction, okay? I lay out the entire thing because why the hell not? Eventually, I'll nail one on the head, right? Just like I did with the Huberto trade. 1917 Dolphins. The 19 comes because we make our first extra point. Then we miss our second extra point because it's snowing too much. And when we get our 3rd touchdown, McDaniel figures, screw trying to kick it, we'll go for 2, and we miss that. Meanwhile, Buffalo's making their field goals, right? That's how they get to 17. They get overconfident. They have the ball last. They realize they only need a field goal to win the game, not a touchdown, okay? Buffalo drives down the field. They're not even worried about getting a touchdown, don't want do anything stupid. They feel confident in their kicker. Boom. They missed a kick at the end of regulation, and the reason why we win the game is those missed kicks, because instead of needing to get a touchdown to beat us, which Buffalo would have gladly gone down and gotten, they get sneaky cheated and lose because they figure they can just kick a field goal and win, and then they miss. And if that happens, I'm going to submit the video to DraftKings, and they're going to have no choice but to sponsor me after that, if that exact scenario happens. All right, Dolphin fans, short and sweet. Just wanted to pop that out there. I'm going to try to do one of these every week for the games. Next stream is tomorrow night for the Panthers, and then Saturday the Panther game starts at 7:30. And then the Dolphin game starts at 8:15, 8:20, whatever it is for Saturday night football. They had to move the game. We're going to be streaming both games. It worked out pretty good last time. When the play is going on, when the football play is going on, Kyle is calling it. Then when he's done calling the play and they're huddling and everything, I'll call the hockey. Then once the football play starts, I shut up. Kyle calls it on the football side. And he's pretty decent. He's pretty decent. And then what we're hoping, eventually, I will be yelling goal and he'll be yelling touchdown at the same time. So it gets a little bit hectic, but we have fun with it. So it's not to be missed. And then in between all of that, I've got 200 pounds of dogs that are just constantly interrupting. So if you're into chaos with dogs and chaos caused by dogs, you don't want to miss it. It's a beautiful thing. All right, 1917 Dolphins fans. We're going to win this game. I'm telling you, we're going to win this game. We're going to just completely flip the script. I know we look like ass on offense the last couple of games. The weather is actually going to end up helping us. And I better be right, or y'all are just going to call me Cocoa Puffs crazy. That's all I can say about that.